The unexpected encounter. The vast expanse of space stretched out before the Terran exploration vessel, Curiosity. Its unconventional design, a series of interconnected cylindrical modules with a massive gravity generator at the fore, stood out against the backdrop of twinkling stars. Inside the bridge, Captain Elena Rodriguez sat in her command chair, her dark eyes scanning the holographic displays surrounding her. "Status report, Lieutenant Chen," she called out, her voice steady despite the tension in the air. Lieutenant Chen, a young officer with a sharp mind and quicker reflexes, responded without taking his eyes off his console. "All systems nominal, Captain. We're approaching the outer reaches of the Epsilon Eridani system. No signs of any unusual activity." Elena nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. The Curiosity was one of the newest ships in Earth's fledgling space fleet, equipped with technology that was a curious mix of human ingenuity and reverse-engineered alien tech. It wasn't the sleekest or the fastest ship out there, but it was uniquely human, adaptable, resilient, and full of surprises. As the Curiosity pushed further into the system, the sensors suddenly lit up. Lieutenant Chen's fingers flew over his console as he analyzed the incoming data. "Captain, we're picking up an unidentified vessel on an intercept course. It's moving fast." Elena leaned forward, her brow furrowing. "Put it on screen." The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a sleek, predatory-looking ship. Its design was alien, all smooth curves and iridescent surfaces that seemed to shimmer and shift in the starlight. It was beautiful in a deadly sort of way. "Any matches in our database?" Elena asked, her mind already racing through possible scenarios. Chen shook his head. "Negative, Captain. It's not any known species we've encountered before." As if on cue, the communication panel lit up. "Captain," the communications officer, Ensign Yuki Tanaka, called out, "We're receiving a transmission from the unknown vessel." Elena straightened in her chair. "Put it through." The view screen changed, revealing a creature that made several crew members gasp. It appeared to be a cross between an octopus and a jellyfish, with a translucent body that pulsed with bioluminescent patterns. Multiple tentacles writhed around its form, and several eyes blinked at them from what seemed to be its head. When it spoke, its voice was a strange mixture of clicks and warbles, translated by the ship's computer into a deep, resonant tone. "Attention, unknown vessel. You have entered the hunting grounds of the Sktheri Imperium. Prepare to be boarded and assessed for potential integration into our collective." Elena's jaw tightened. She'd heard stories of species like this, space-faring predators that saw other races as nothing more than resources to be exploited. "This is Captain Elena Rodriguez of the Terran exploration vessel Curiosity. We mean you no harm and are on a peaceful mission of exploration. We respectfully request safe passage through your territory." The alien's bioluminescent patterns flashed in what Elena could only interpret as amusement. "Your desires are irrelevant, primitive creatures. Your ship's design indicates a species new to space travel. You will make an excellent addition to our workforce. Prepare to be boarded." The transmission cut off abruptly, leaving the bridge in stunned silence. "Red alert," Elena barked, jolting her crew into action. "All hands to battle stations. Chen, what's our status compared to their ship?" Chen's fingers danced over his console. "They outmass us by about 20%, Captain. Their energy readings suggest more advanced weapons and shielding. But," he paused, a glint in his eye, "their maneuverability seems limited. They're built for straight-line speed, not agility." Elena nodded, a plan already forming in her mind. "Tanaka, send a distress signal to Earth. Make it look like we're panicking." She turned to her helmsman. "Ensign Garcia, prepare for evasive maneuvers. But don't engage yet. Let them think we're easy prey." As the alien ship drew closer, Elena could feel the anticipation building among her crew. They were outnumbered, outgunned, and facing an unknown enemy. But if there was one thing humans excelled at, It was turning disadvantages into strengths. "All right, people," Elena said, her voice calm but filled with determination. "We may be new to this cosmic neighborhood, but we're far from helpless. They think they're dealing with primitive creatures. Let's show them what humans are really capable of." The Curiosity hung in space, seemingly vulnerable as the predatory alien ship approached. But inside, the crew was ready. They had trained for this, prepared for the unexpected. As the Scatheri vessel came within striking distance, Elena allowed herself a small, fierce smile. "Let the games begin," she whispered. The Scatheri ship fired its first shot, a brilliant beam of energy that streaked towards the Curiosity. At the last possible moment, Elena shouted, "Now, Garcia." The Curiosity's engines roared to life, the ship twisting in a maneuver that would have been impossible for most vessels its size. The energy beam missed by mere meters, its heat washing over the ship's hull. "Return fire," Elena ordered. "Aim for their propulsion systems." The Curiosity's weapons may have been less advanced, but they were precisely aimed. A barrage of projectiles and energy blasts peppered the Scatheri ship's rear, causing it to shudder visibly. On the view screen, Elena could see the alien vessel struggling to match the Curiosity's agility. It was clear they hadn't expected this level of resistance. But the battle was far from over. The Scatheri ship was wounded, yes, but still dangerous, perhaps even more so now that it had been provoked. As both ships regrouped for the next phase of the battle, Elena knew that the real test was yet to come. The humans had surprised their adversaries, but surprise alone wouldn't be enough. They needed to outsmart them, to use every trick and tool at their disposal. Looking around at her determined crew, Elena felt a surge of pride. Whatever happened next, she knew one thing for certain. The Scatheri were about to learn a valuable lesson about underestimating humanity, a test of wits. The initial exchange had left both ships wounded but still very much in the fight. The Curiosity's unconventional design had proven to be its first line of defense, allowing it to perform maneuvers that the Scatheri clearly hadn't anticipated. But Elena knew they couldn't rely on surprise forever. "Damage report," she called out, her eyes never leaving the alien ship on the view screen. Lieutenant Chen's voice was tense but controlled. "Minor hull breaches on decks 3 and 4, Captain. Automated repair systems are engaged. Our port thrusters took a hit, but they're still operational at 70% capacity. Weapons systems are fully functional." Elena nodded, her mind racing. "And our special modifications?" A small smile played on Chen's lips. "Fully operational, Captain. Just say the word." "Good," Elena replied, "because I have a feeling we're going to need them." The Scatheri ship had recovered from its initial surprise and was now advancing again, its movements more cautious this time. The alien commander's face appeared on the view screen once more, its bioluminescent patterns pulsing with what Elena interpreted as anger. "Impressive maneuvering, primitive ones," the alien's translated voice boomed. "But do not think this small victory means anything. Your resistance is futile, and will only serve to make your eventual subjugation more uncomfortable." Elena stood from her chair, facing the alien with a steely gaze. "I think you'll find that humans are full of surprises. We don't take kindly to threats, and we certainly don't surrender easily. I'll give you one chance to withdraw and let us pass peacefully." The alien's laughter was a disturbing mix of clicks and gurgles. "Your bravado is amusing, but misplaced. Prepare to be boarded. We will take great pleasure in breaking your spirit." As the transmission cut off, Elena turned to her crew. "All right, people. They're going to try to board us. That means they'll be aiming for our gravity generator. Chen, reroute all non-essential power to our shields. Garcia, keep us moving, but make it look like we're struggling. Let's draw them in close." The next few minutes were a tense dance of ships in space. The Scatheri vessel fired strategically, each shot aimed at wearing down the Curiosity's defenses around its gravity generator. Elena allowed her ship to take some hits, knowing that each one brought the aliens closer to falling into her trap. Finally, a particularly powerful blast rocked the Curiosity, and Elena saw her opportunity. "Now, Chen. Initiate Protocol Archimedes." Chen's fingers flew over his console, and suddenly, the Curiosity's massive gravity generator sprang to life in a way it was never intended to be used. Instead of providing artificial gravity for the ship's interior, it projected a powerful gravitational field outward. The effect on the Scatheri ship was immediate and dramatic. Caught in the unexpected gravitational pull, the alien vessel was yanked towards the Curiosity with alarming speed. Tentacle-like appendages shot out from the Scatheri ship, latching onto the Curiosity's hull in an attempt to stabilize itself and begin boarding procedures. But Elena was ready for this. Activate rotating sections. The Curiosity's cylindrical modules began to spin, slowly at first, then with increasing speed. The Scatheri boarders, adapted for zero-gravity environments, found themselves suddenly subjected to forces they were ill-equipped to handle. Through the Curiosity's external cameras, Elena could see the alien invaders being flung about, struggling to maintain their grip on the ship's exterior. "They wanted our gravity generator," Elena said with grim satisfaction. "Let's give them more than they bargained for." Garcia, full spin. The Curiosity's rotation increased to its maximum safe speed. The Scatheri boarders, unable to cope with the intense centrifugal force, were flung off into space. Those that managed to enter the ship through airlocks or breaches found themselves equally disoriented, easy prey for the well-prepared human security teams. On the bridge, Elena and her crew fought against their own artificial gravity to stay upright, years of training paying off as they managed their stations under extreme conditions. Through it all, Elena kept her eyes on the alien ship, watching for signs of their next move. She didn't have to wait long. The Scatheri vessel, realizing its boarding attempt had failed spectacularly, began to pull away. But the Curiosity's gravitational field, combined with the rotation, had created a vortex-like effect in space. The alien ship struggled against the pull, its engines straining. "They're trying to break free," Chen reported. "Their engine output is off the charts. If they keep this up, they'll tear themselves apart." Elena faced a crucial decision. She could maintain the gravitational trap, potentially destroying the Scatheri ship entirely. It would be a decisive victory, eliminating a clear threat to human expansion in space. But at what cost? How many aliens would die? And what would it say about humanity if they annihilated a potential rival at the first encounter? "Disengage the gravity field," Elena ordered, her voice firm. "Bring us to a stop." Her crew looked at her in surprise, but quickly complied. The Curiosity's spin slowed, and the projected gravitational field dissipated. The Scatheri ship, suddenly free of the force holding it in place, tumbled away awkwardly. "Open a channel," Elena said, straightening her uniform. The alien commander appeared on screen, its tentacles writhing in what Elena assumed was a mixture of rage and confusion. Before it could speak, Elena addressed it directly. "Your boarding attempt has failed," she said calmly. "We could have destroyed your ship, but we chose not to. Consider this a demonstration of both our capabilities and our mercy. We are not the primitive species you assumed us to be. We are humanity, and we come in peace, but we will defend ourselves if threatened. I suggest you reconsider your approach to first contact situations in the future." The alien was silent for a long moment, its bioluminescent patterns shifting rapidly. When it finally spoke, there was a note of grudging respect in its translated voice. "You are not what we expected, humans. Perhaps there is more to learn about you than we initially thought." Elena allowed herself a small smile. "There's always more to learn. That's why we're out here. Now, shall we start this encounter over? On more equal footing this time." As the two ships hung in space, no longer as predator and prey, but as two species on the verge of a potentially historic dialogue, Elena felt a surge of pride in her crew and in humanity as a whole. They had faced a superior force and emerged victorious not through brute strength, but through ingenuity, teamwork, and a willingness to show mercy. The encounter was far from over, and there were undoubtedly more challenges to come. But in this moment, humanity had proven itself a force to be reckoned with in the cosmic arena, and Alina knew that whatever came next, they would face it with the same resourcefulness and determination that had served them so well today. The human advantage. As the tense standoff between the Curiosity and the Scatheri vessel continued, Alina knew that the next few moments would be crucial. The aliens had underestimated humanity once. She couldn't allow them to make the same mistake again. But neither could she afford to appear weak or indecisive. "Lieutenant Chen," she said, her voice low but clear, "run a full scan of their ship. I want to know everything. Damage reports, energy readings, life signs, the works." Chen nodded, his fingers dancing over his console. As he worked, Alina turned her attention back to the view screen, where the alien commander waited, its tentacles writhing in what she now recognized as a sign of agitation. "Commander," Alina addressed the Scatheri, "I propose a temporary ceasefire while we both assess our situations. Are you amenable to this?" The alien's bioluminescent patterns flickered rapidly before settling into a steady pulse. "We accept your proposal, human captain, but do not mistake this for weakness. We are merely curious about your species now." Alina allowed herself a small smile. "Curiosity is something we have in common, then. Perhaps we can build on that." As the communication channel closed, Chen spoke up. "Captain, I have the scan results. Their ship has sustained significant damage to its propulsion systems and outer hull. Energy readings are fluctuating, suggesting some sort of internal power struggle. And there's something else." Alina raised an eyebrow. "Go on." "Their life support systems are showing signs of strain. It looks like our gravity attack did more than just throw them around. It disrupted some crucial systems. If they don't get repairs done soon, they could be in serious trouble." This information presented both an opportunity and a moral dilemma. The Scatheri were clearly vulnerable, but exploiting that vulnerability could lead to unnecessary loss of life and potentially create an implacable enemy for humanity. Alina made her decision quickly. "Ensign Tanaka, open a channel to the Scatheri ship." The alien commander appeared on screen once more, its posture noticeably less aggressive than before. "Commander," Alina began, "our scans indicate that your life support systems were damaged in our encounter. We have the capability to assist with repairs if you're willing to accept our help." The alien's tentacles twisted in what Alina now interpreted as surprise. "You would aid us after we attempted to subjugate you?" Alina nodded solemnly. "In our culture, there's a concept called enlightened self-interest. By helping you, we demonstrate our capabilities, our ethics, and our desire for peaceful coexistence. It's in our best interest to turn potential enemies into potential allies." The Scatheri commander was silent for a long moment, its bioluminescent patterns shifting rapidly. Finally, it spoke. "Your offer is unexpected, but we find ourselves in need. We will accept your assistance, human captain." Alina smiled. "Excellent. We'll prepare a team to..." Alina smiled. "Excellent. We'll prepare a team to board your vessel and assist with repairs. In the meantime, I suggest we exchange information about our respective species. Knowledge, after all, is the foundation of understanding." As the communication channel closed, Alina turned to her crew. "Lieutenant Chen, assemble a repair team. Make sure they're armed, but weapons are to remain holstered unless absolutely necessary. Ensign Garcia, bring us alongside the Scatheri vessel, but maintain our shield integrity. Ensign Tanaka, I want you to compile a basic cultural and technological briefing about humanity to share with our guests." The bridge buzzed with activity as her orders were carried out. Alina felt a mixture of pride and apprehension. This was a pivotal moment not just for her crew, but potentially for all of humanity. Their actions here could set the tone for future interstellar relations. An hour later, Elena stood in the Curiosity's airlock, facing the repair team. Led by Chief Engineer Raj Patel, a brilliant mind with a penchant for unorthodox solutions, the team was a mix of engineers, xenobiologists, and security personnel. Remember, Elena addressed them, we're not just fixing their ship, we're showing them who we are as a species. Be cautious, be respectful, but don't be afraid to demonstrate our capabilities. Understood. A chorus of "Yes, Captain" echoed through the airlock. As the team prepared to board the Scatheri vessel, Elena returned to the bridge. On the view screen, she could see the alien ship up close for the first time. Its biomechanical design was both beautiful and unsettling, reminding her of deep-sea creatures from Earth. Fascinating, Lieutenant Chen murmured, his eyes glued to his console. Their technology seems to be a blend of organic and inorganic components. It's like nothing we've ever seen before. Elena nodded, which is exactly why we need to be careful. Tanaka, any response to our cultural briefing? The young ensign looked up from her station. Yes, Captain. The Scatheri have sent an acknowledgement, along with, well, it seems to be their own version of a species introduction. It's quite extensive. Good, Elena replied. Start analyzing it. I want to know everything we can about them before our repair team returns. As the hours passed, the bridge crew worked tirelessly, poring over the Scatheri data while monitoring the repair team's progress. Elena found herself fascinated by what they were learning. The Scatheri, it seemed, were a collective species, sharing a hive-like mentality while still maintaining individual consciousness. Their technology was as much grown as it was built, explaining its organic appearance. Suddenly, Chen's console lit up with alerts. Captain, I'm detecting a power surge in the Scatheri ship. It's not from our repairs. Elena's muscles tensed. Explain. It looks like they're charging weapon systems, Chen reported, his voice tight with concern. But that's not all. I'm picking up multiple new energy signatures. More Scatheri ships, Captain. They're decloaking all around us. The view screen flickered to life, showing the space around them, filled with shimmering forms as Scatheri vessels revealed themselves. The Curiosity was completely surrounded. Elena's mind raced. Had this all been an elaborate trap? Had their act of mercy been turned against them? The Scatheri commander appeared on screen, its bioluminescent patterns pulsing rapidly. Human Captain, it began, its translated voice carrying a note of, was that admiration. You have surprised us once again. Elena stood tall, her voice steadied despite the tension coursing through her. I thought we were moving towards understanding, Commander. Why the deception? The alien's tentacles writhed in a complex pattern. This was not deception, but a test, a final evaluation. When we realized the full extent of your technological capabilities, we summoned our fleet. We needed to see how you would react to our vulnerability. Would you exploit it, destroy us when we were weak? Instead, you offered aid. You shared knowledge freely. The commander paused, its patterns shifting to a calmer rhythm. In all our centuries of expansion, we have never encountered a species that responded to potential defeat with mercy and openness. You have intrigued us, humans. Elena allowed herself to relax slightly, but remained alert. I'm glad we've intrigued you, Commander. But I hope you understand that surrounding us with your fleet doesn't exactly inspire trust on our part. The Scatheri commander's patterns flickered in what Elena was beginning to recognize as amusement. Of course. But consider this, human captain. We have revealed ourselves to you. Our cloaking technology was our greatest advantage, and now you know of its existence. This is our way of extending trust. Elena considered this for a moment. The Scatheri were right. By revealing their hidden fleet and their cloaking capability, they had given up a significant tactical advantage. It was a gesture that spoke volumes. Very well, Commander, Elena said, allowing a small smile to cross her face. It seems we've both learned something about each other today. Where do we go from here? The Scatheri's tentacles moved in a fluid, almost graceful motion. We'd propose an exchange. Your repair team has already demonstrated remarkable ingenuity in adapting to our biomechanical systems. We would be interested in further collaboration. In return, we can offer insights into our own technologies, including our advancements in propulsion and energy generation. Alina's heart raced at the possibility. This was beyond anything she had hoped for when the Curiosity set out on its mission. Not only had they survived a confrontation with a technologically superior species, but they were now on the verge of a potentially galaxy-changing alliance. "Commander," Alina replied, her voice filled with determination and hope. "On behalf of humanity, I accept your proposal. Let this be the beginning of a new chapter in both our histories." As the Scatheri fleet moved into a less threatening formation around the Curiosity, Alina turned to her crew. Their faces showed a mix of relief, excitement, and pride. They had faced the unknown and emerged not just victorious, but with the promise of a brighter future for all of humanity. "Well done, everyone," Alina said, her voice filled with emotion. "Today, we've shown the galaxy what humanity is truly capable of. Our journey is just beginning, but I can't think of a crew I'd rather have by my side as we explore the stars." As the Curiosity and the Scatheri fleet prepared for their new collaborative venture, Alina couldn't help but feel a sense of awe. They had set out to explore the cosmos, but in doing so, they had also explored the depths of human potential. With ingenuity, compassion, and an unwavering spirit, humanity had proven that it was ready to take its place among the stars. The adventure was far from over. In fact, it was just beginning. But whatever challenges lay ahead, Alina knew that humanity would face them with the same resourcefulness, adaptability, and fundamental decency that had served them so well in this first, crucial encounter. As she gazed out at the stars, now filled with the shimmering forms of their new alien allies, Alina whispered to herself, "To bold new horizons, turning the tables." The days following the initial encounter with the Scatheri were a whirlwind of activity aboard the Curiosity. As the human vessel traveled alongside the Scatheri fleet, the crew found themselves immersed in a crash course on alien biology, technology, and culture. Captain Alina Rodriguez stood in the newly established joint laboratory, watching as her chief engineer, Raj Patel, worked side by side with his Scatheri scientist. The alien's tentacles moved with surprising dexterity, manipulating tools that seemed to be a blend of organic and inorganic components. "Fascinating," Raj muttered, his eyes wide with wonder. "Their entire approach to engineering is so different from ours. It's like they grow their technology as much as they build it." Alina nodded, equally amazed. "And yet you've managed to find common ground. I've seen the reports on the improvements you've already made to our propulsion systems." Raj grinned, his enthusiasm infectious. "Oh, Captain, you haven't seen anything yet. Wait until you see what we're working on for the gravity generator. If this pans out, we could revolutionize space travel as we know it." As Alina left the lab, she couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. Her crew had taken this unprecedented situation in stride, adapting to work with the Scatheri with remarkable speed and ingenuity. But as she made her way back to the bridge, a nagging concern tugged at the back of her mind. Lieutenant Chen looked up as she entered, his expression serious. "Captain, we've received a transmission from Earth Command. They're concerned about the speed of our alliance with the Scatheri. Some factions are pushing for a more cautious approach." Alina sighed, having anticipated this reaction. "Put them through to my ready room, Chen. I'll handle this." In the privacy of her ready room, Alina faced the stern visage of Admiral Hiroshi Tanaka on her screen. The older man's face was creased with worry lines. "Captain Rodriguez," he began without preamble, "while we commend your handling of the initial confrontation, there are concerns about the rapid pace of technological exchange with the Scatheri. We know very little about their long-term intentions." Alina straightened, her voice firm but respectful. Admiral, I understand the concerns, but I assure you that we're proceeding with all due caution. The Scatheri have been open and transparent in their dealings with us. More importantly, this exchange is not one-sided. They're learning as much from us as we are from them. The Admiral's eyebrows rose. Oh, how so? Elena allowed herself a small smile. Sir, it turns out that while the Scatheri are technologically advanced in many areas, there are aspects of human innovation that have genuinely surprised them. Our adaptability, our problem-solving skills, even our social structures. These are all things they find fascinating, and in some cases, superior to their own approaches. She went on to detail some of the key discoveries and exchanges that had taken place, emphasizing how human ingenuity had often found novel applications for Scatheri technology that the aliens themselves hadn't considered. As she spoke, she could see the Admiral's expression slowly shifting from concern to intrigue. By the time she finished her report, he was nodding thoughtfully. Very well, Captain, he said finally. Continue with the exchange program, but remain vigilant. We'll be eagerly awaiting your full report. As the transmission ended, Elena let out a breath she hadn't realized she'd been holding. She knew that balancing the opportunities of this new alliance with the very real concerns of Earth would be an ongoing challenge. Returning to the bridge, Elena found her crew engaged in animated discussion with several Scatheri who had come aboard for a cultural exchange session. Ensign Tanaka was explaining the concept of individual creativity to a fascinated Scatheri. You see, she was saying, while we do work together in groups, we also value individual expression and innovation. It's often from a single person's unique perspective that groundbreaking ideas emerge. The Scatheri's bioluminescent patterns pulsed rapidly, indicating intense interest. This concept of individual genius is alien to us, the translated voice responded. In our collective, ideas emerge from the combined consciousness of many, but we can see how your approach could lead to unexpected solutions. Elena smiled, seeing yet another example of how humanity's unique traits were proving to be valuable in this interstellar exchange. But her moment of satisfaction was interrupted by an urgent alert from Lieutenant Chen's station. Captain, Chen called out, his voice tense. Long-range sensors are picking up an unknown fleet approaching at high speed. They're not Scatheri, and they're not responding to hails. The atmosphere on the bridge immediately shifted, all attention focused on the potential threat. Elena quickly opened a channel to the Scatheri command ship. Commander, she addressed her alien counterpart, are you aware of this approaching fleet? Do you recognize the configuration? The Scatheri commander's response was immediate, its patterns indicating alarm. We do not recognize these vessels, human captain, but their approach vector suggests they've been tracking our fleet's movements. We may have inadvertently led them to you. Elena's mind raced, assessing the situation. They were facing an unknown threat, potentially hostile. But unlike their first encounter with the Scatheri, they now had allies, and a wealth of new knowledge and technology at their disposal. All hands to battle stations, Elena ordered, her voice calm but authoritative. Ensign Garcia, coordinate with the Scatheri fleet for defensive positioning. Lieutenant Chen, I want all our new systems online and ready. As the Curiosity and the Scatheri fleet moved into formation, Elena felt a strange mix of tension and excitement. They were about to face another test, but this time, they weren't alone. More importantly, they had a chance to demonstrate the true power of their new alliance, the combination of Scatheri technology with human ingenuity and adaptability. Let's show them what we can do together, Elena said, her eyes fixed on the approaching fleet. Humanity and Scatheri, united and ready for whatever the galaxy throws our way. As the unknown ships drew closer, their intentions still a mystery, Elena couldn't help but feel a sense of anticipation. Whatever happened next, she knew it would be a defining moment not just for her crew, but for the future of human-alien relations in the vast, unpredictable expanse of space. The stage was set for a confrontation that would test the strength of their new alliance and the true potential of humanity's place among the stars. An unlikely alliance. The tension on the Curiosity's bridge was palpable as the unknown fleet drew closer. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood at the center, her posture rigid, but her mind racing with possibilities. Around her, her crew worked in perfect sync, their recent experiences with the Scatheri having honed their skills to a razor's edge. Visual contact in 30 seconds, Captain. Lieutenant Chen reported, his fingers dancing across his console. Elena nodded, then opened a channel to the Scatheri command ship. "Commander, are your ships in position?" The alien's response came swiftly, its bioluminescent patterns pulsing with what Elena now recognized as determination. "We are ready, human captain. Our fleet stands with yours." As the unknown ships came into view, the collective gasp rippled through the bridge. The vessels were massive, easily dwarfing both the Curiosity and the Scatheri ships. Their design was angular and intimidating, bristling with what appeared to be weaponry. "They're charging weapons," Chen called out, his voice tense. Elena's mind raced. They were outgunned and likely outmatched in terms of raw firepower. But they had something these new arrivals didn't: the unique combination of human ingenuity and Scatheri technology. "Ensign Garcia," Elena commanded, "initiate Protocol Archimedes Scatheri." A smile flickered across Garcia's face as he input the commands. This was the moment they had been preparing for, a joint strategy that combined the Curiosity's gravity manipulation techniques with Scatheri biomechanical technology. As the enemy fleet opened fire, the space around the Curiosity and its allies seemed to ripple and distort. The incoming energy beams bent and twisted, most missing their targets entirely. Those that did hit were absorbed by a shimmering field that pulsed with bioluminescent patterns. "It's working," Chen exclaimed, unable to hide his excitement. "Their weapons are barely scratching our defenses." Elena allowed herself a small smile. "Good. Now let's show them what we can do." "Lieutenant Chen, target their lead ship with our new gravitic disruptor." A beam of coherent gravity waves lanced out from the Curiosity, striking the largest enemy vessel. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, to the astonishment of everyone watching, the massive ship began to crumple in on itself, as if being crushed by an invisible hand. The effect on the enemy fleet was immediate. Their formation broke, ships scattering in apparent panic. "They're retreating, Captain," Garcia reported, his voice filled with disbelief and joy. But Elena's satisfaction was short-lived. As the enemy fleet regrouped at a safe distance, a new signal came through. "Captain," Ensign Tanaka called out, "we're receiving a transmission from the enemy fleet. Audio only." Elena straightened her uniform. "Put it through." A deep, resonant voice filled the bridge, speaking in a language none of them recognized. But as the ship's computer worked to translate, Elena felt a chill run down her spine. "Demand an explanation," the voice was saying as the translation kicked in. "By what right do you wield the power of the ancients? How have you unlocked the secrets of gravitic manipulation?" Elena exchanged a glance with her Scatheri counterpart on the view screen. This was unexpected. These weren't simple aggressors. They were looking for answers. Taking a deep breath, Elena responded, "This is Captain Elena Rodriguez of the Earth ship Curiosity. We come in peace, seeking knowledge and understanding. The technology we wield is the result of cooperation and mutual exchange with our allies, the Scatheri. Who are you, and why have you attacked us?" There was a long pause before the reply came. "We are the Guardians, tasked with protecting the legacy of the ancients. For millennia, we have watched over this sector, ensuring that no single race gained too much power. But you have done the impossible. You have combined technologies in ways we thought unachievable." Elena's mind raced with the implications. These Guardians weren't enemies. They were custodians, and they had just witnessed something that challenged their entire worldview. "We meant no disrespect to your mission, or to the legacy you protect," Elena said carefully. "Our goal is exploration and understanding. not dominance. Perhaps we could share what we've learned. An exchange of knowledge in the spirit of peace. The silence that followed seemed to stretch for an eternity. Finally, the Guardian's voice returned, softer this time. For countless cycles, we have watched species rise and fall, always keeping the greatest secrets of the universe out of reach. But you and your unlikely allies, you have shown us something new, something unexpected. The massive ships of the Guardian fleet began to move, but not in aggression. They were taking up positions around the combined human-Scytheri fleet, almost protectively. We would learn from you, the Guardian continued, and in turn, share the knowledge we have guarded for so long. But be warned, with great power comes great responsibility. Are you prepared for the challenges that lie ahead? Elena looked around at her crew, then at the image of this Scytheri commander. She saw in their eyes the same mix of excitement, apprehension, and determination that she felt. "We are ready," Elena replied, her voice firm. "Humanity has always strived to push boundaries, to explore the unknown. With our Scytheri allies and now with your guidance, we face the future not with fear, but with hope and curiosity." As the Guardian ships escorted the human Scytheri fleet deeper into the sector, Elena felt a profound sense of awe. They had set out to explore the stars, but in doing so, they had reshaped the very fabric of interstellar relations. Through cooperation, adaptability, and an unwavering spirit of discovery, humanity had proven itself ready to stand alongside the most advanced races in the galaxy. The journey ahead would be challenging, filled with wonders and dangers beyond imagination. But as Elena looked at her crew, human and Scytheri working side by side, with the ancient Guardians now joining their unlikely alliance, she knew that they were ready for whatever the universe had in store. This was more than just a victory against overwhelming odds. It was the dawn of a new era, one where the combined strengths of different species could unlock the greatest mysteries of the cosmos. And humanity, with its unique blend of ingenuity, adaptability, and compassion, would play a pivotal role in shaping that future. As the Curiosity ventured into unknown space, flanked by their new allies, Elena whispered the words that had driven explorers throughout human history: "To boldly go where no one has gone before." The adventure was just beginning.